Amen.
All right, being 6:30, we'll call the common council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call has been taken. All right, moving to adoption of the agenda.
So move, Your Honor.
Made by Mr. Barrington,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Dorsey. Any additions or corrections? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried by all. Approval of December 17th, 2024 Common Council meeting.
Move to approve the minutes, Your Honor.
Motion made by Mr. Fiche,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Ritchie. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried by all as well. Mr. Dorsey, authorization to pay the bills, please.
Your Honor, I make a motion of authorization to pay the bills in the amount of $905,452.75.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Barrington. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, please cast your ballot. Motion carried 9-0. All right, special request from the Shamrock Club of New Dublin to change the city's name for the week of March 17th through the 22nd, 2025. Ms. Mulroy.
Thank you for inviting me to be here tonight. Top of the evening to you, councilmen and women, and Mayor Mark. I'm representing the Shamrock Club, and I'm on a special mission to let you know things are looking really good for our week of festivities that we offer to the city residents. Although the next 2 months are the busiest, it takes a whole year for us to prepare the events just for this 1 week. It all kicks off Monday, March 17, St. Patrick's Day this year, when local leprechauns do their annual magic to city signs, changing New London to New Dublin. In between sign switching, they visit old people who are homebound and even make a stop to see the wee ones at the New Dublin daycare. Tuesday is the day to get out and enjoy great Irish food at many restaurants in and around the city. Sadly, we lost one of our original leprechauns and Shamrock Club founders over the past year. But Pup Lawhern's sons will be cooking up his special corned beef and cabbage at the Irish pub in Northport. And I just wanted you to know that I'm wearing my Pup's Irish pub sweatshirt in his honor tonight. On Wednesday evening, join us as we serenade the oldsters, starting at St. Joseph Residence. On Thursday, come to the high school as we introduce the Irishman and Rose for 2025, Don and Connie Laughlin. They are Shamrock Club members who have helped the club for many years. During the Thursday variety show at the New Dublin High School, there'll be bagpipes and Irish dancing, Celtic music, a children's skit, and an Irish comedian straight from Lebanon. It's an old-fashioned night of entertainment featuring local performers, and please, you are all welcome. But that's not the end. On Friday evening is the Ceilidh, an Irish dance party held at Crystal Falls, complete with an authentic Irish dance collar, kind of like a square dance collar, and an Irish band to accompany the dancing. It's all paid for by the Shamrock Club, so come out and enjoy. And of course, Saturday brings the culmination of the week, the Grand Parade, attended by scores of people from all over. As the parade marches down our city streets, we can't help but remember that those same streets were torn up and smoothed over and torn up again. North Water Street was closed for a very long time, much to the dismay of the business owners. Fortunately, our city has several employees who worked very hard during the past year to obtain funds and see the work to its completion. One of the most dedicated has been Chad Hurd, our city administrator. Chad worked with Public Works Director Robert Gartsky to secure funding for this huge project. Chad puts great effort into every day to bring businesses and development into New London. Another undeniable advocate for our city is Chamber of Commerce Director April Kapitsky, always striving to show off New London's fine points and helping bring businesses to our downtown. So it's really no wonder that the Shamrock Club chose All Roads Open to New Dublin as our theme for 2025, and we selected Chad and April as our parade grand marshals. Speaking again of the city streets, I'd be remiss to skip mentioning the hardworking crew that keeps those roads repaired, clean, and drivable. Our street committee. Our street department is headed up by Luke Hammond. You know this, of course, but all the people listening, this is the group who does all the background work we take for granted while we're out and about. They're keeping the roads open to New Dublin. After that build up, here's my pitch. My reason for appearing before you this evening, I would like to ask you all to consider my request that we temporarily drop the name New London and change it to New Dublin. It's much more fitting for our week of Irishness, and the renaming has placed us on a worldwide directory of cities who celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Did you know that? Last year we were number 3. There was Boston, Savannah, Georgia, us, and then Chicago, and 6 more. Unbelievable. Considering we started with 1/2 of the road and 35 entries. I would like you to consider changing New London to New Dublin for the dates March 17 and through and including March 22, 2025.
Thank you, Melissa.
So move, Your Honor, to change the name of New London to New Dublin, to change the signs at our city entrance.
From March
17
17th.
March to 22 March.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Perry. Ms. Magowski seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion carried 9-0.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Mrs. Mulbright. All right, next on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any public comment? Hearing no public comment, we will continue on for standing and special committees. Board of Public Works, Mr. Hess, you're up.
Thank you, Your Honor. Board of Public Works met Monday, January 6th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made and second to approve the agenda. Motion carried by all. Public input. Residents presented opinion related to the lack of community involvement in citywide garbage disposal contract. Motion made and seconded. That was it for public comment. Sorry about that. Wastewater treatment plan updates were enclosed in the packet. Discussion action on survey results for contract citywide disposal. Director Garski reviewed the results of this survey of a citywide garbage disposal contract. Extensive discussion took place evaluating the published opinion with each representative making comments about the item. It was found during the discussion that The only way to decide on a contracted citywide disposal was to gain more information on the cost. Motion made and seconded to start an official bid process for a opt-out clause for the citywide disposal. Motion was carried 6-4. Discussion on Outagamie County's proposal administrative rule for county truck highway improvement local cost share. Director Garcia presented to the committee proposal changes by Outagamie County to the previous rule AR 10-02 for the county. Local cost share for the county trunk highway systems that run through municipalities. Most cost share would remain the same at each 50% each, with the biggest change being land acquisition going on from the 100% county to a 50-50 split. No motion is made or vote was taken. Director's reports. The director's memo included in the agenda packet was reviewed by the board. Anniversaries, Mary Mason, 2 years of service. Oshkosh Street updates include posted bidding for the project starting January 9th with bid opening on January 23rd. Director Garcia contacted specific properties to advise about tree removal and the landscaping in the right of way, which will need to be removed for this year's sewer, water, and road construction project. House and Elkan Road project began design complete and bidding will take place in February through the state. Finish interviews for the new full-time facilities technician and hope to have hired by the end of January. Director Garcia responded to a query about replacement of missing or unreadable street signs throughout the city limits. Future agenda, citywide contract garbage collection, contracts for yard waste site use, townships of Muckwa and Caledonia. Date and time for the next meeting will be Monday, February 3rd at 2:15. Being no further motion, we adjourned at 6:25. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Finance and Personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
Finance Personnel Committee met Wednesday, December 8th, or January 8th, 5:45. Motion made, seconded to approve the December 4th meeting minutes. Motion was made to approve the amended agenda. There was no public comment. Motion was made, seconded to recommend to council denial of the claim. There's an update on the cell tower agreement with Insight Tower Holdings was discussed. Motion is made for the city administrator to gather more information on the amount other communities are receiving from this type of agreement, bring that back for future finance meeting. Finance director's monthly reports are presented. Finance director's report was discussed. Alderperson Haas inquired about the city's policy about allowing staff to use the pool and exercise program at no charge, and asked if it could be expanded to alderpersons as a benefit. The time commitment alderpersons spend attending city meetings. Earthen Radke explained that the benefit is tied to the city's wellness policy, encourage employees to be active and healthy, which can have a direct benefit to the city, as a healthier employee can save tax dollars by lowering health insurance claims. Staff will inquire the city attorney on the question and bring the information back for a future meeting discussion. There be no further business. Meeting was adjourned at 6:47. The next Finance and Personnel Committee meeting will be held here at February 5th at 5:15. 5:15. A capital equipment and projects meeting will follow. Make a motion to consider the approval of the monthly license list.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey. Mr. Fisher, do you second that? Second by Mr. Fisher for the monthly license list. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried by all.
Make a motion to consider the approval of the sexting ordinance. This is the second reading.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Barrington. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is also carried 9-0.
Motion to consider the action on the claim request. Assume that's to deny it. Think that another, right?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, who seconded over here. Mr. Hess. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. Ms. Magowski. That motion is carried 9-0 as well.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess, or Mr. Hess. Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Park and Recreation, Mr. Bissell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee met on Tuesday, January 7th. The meeting was called to order at 5:15. After the Pledge of Allegiance, motion was made and second to adopt the agenda. Public input, there was none. UW-Madison student capstone first semester presentation. Director Saul introduced Milo Augusto, the UW-Madison seniors study landscape architecture. His capstone project focused on the redesign of the city of New London's downtown district. He presented his completed first semester work to the committee. This included two different initial concepts, one focusing on creating a historical district and one focusing on creating more green spaces, both bringing a cohesiveness to the public space in the project area. No motion was made or vote taken on this subject. Consider an approval and update to section 9.41, animals at special events. Director Soul brought to committee changes allowing domestic dogs and cats at special events that take place in the city limits. Chief Jeff Schlueter was present in support of the amendment to the ordinance. Some discussion did take place between committee members. Motion was made and seconded to approve and recommend to council updating ordinance 9.41, animals at special events. Discussion development of archery range. Director Soul presented to committee along with Luke Hammonds, Parks and Street Superintendent, the preliminary plan for the archery range at 740 River Road. After review of the conceptual design, budget and insurance considerations, the committee discussed the project positively and encouraged Saul and Hammonds to discuss or to continue researching grants for the project. No motion was made or vote taken. Consider and approve agreement with Waupaca County Meal Site Facility Use. Director Soul recommended renewing the annual agreement with Waupaca County Department of Health and Human Services and City of New London for the continued use of the Washington Center. Motion is made and seconded to approve agreement with Waupaca County for congregate meal site use. Director's report. Director Soul was included in the agenda packet and reviewed by the committee. Additional comments, notes as follows. Snowflakes were removed recently. We had a staff available and the weather was favorable, so it is not out of the ordinary that they will come down as soon as possible after New Year allows crews to be prepared for the winter season. The Balsam Row Road Dam above Shauna Lake has had a generator failure and may lead to unstable water levels on the river. This is being monitored for possible effects in the local area. Chairman's report was none. Future agenda items, ash removal plan, the comprehensive outdoor recreational plan concept with East Central Wisconsin Planning Commission. The next Park and Rec meeting will be Tuesday, February 4th, 5:15. There being no further discussion, motion made and seconded, meeting adjourned at 6:30. I would make a motion to approve the senior center agreement with Waupaca County.
Motion made by Mr. Bissell. Ms. Magowski, you second? All right, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. Motion carried 9-0.
I would also make a motion for approval of the ordinance amending the City of New London's code to permit animals at special events. First reading.
Motion made by Mr. Bissell,
Second.
second by Mr. Touche. Any further discussion? Mr. Barrington.
Will that include fireworks? I don't believe we should have dogs at fireworks.
The ordinance encompasses all special events.
What?
So the ordinance encompasses the entire special event. That would be in special event packet, so. Yeah,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. Motion is carried, 8 yes, 1 no.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bissell. Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie.
Planning Commission met December 12th. Roll call was taken. Motion was made to adopt the agenda. That passed. September 26th. Minute meetings were reviewed. Commission reviewed a petition for a conditional use request to allow multifamily housing at 310 West Wolf River Avenue, currently zone B1. Central Business District. Chairman Ritchie opened the public hearing on the request at 5:17. A required 30-day notice was published in the local newspaper, and letters were sent out to the property owners within 100 foot of the parcel to notify them of the public hearing. No members of the public attended the meeting. Chairman Ritchie asked 3 times for any public comment. There was none. The public hearing was closed at 5:18. Minister Horth reviewed the remaining process for the conditional use request, including the elevation criteria, and the conceptual site plan and exterior renderings were provided. Mayor Herder motion to approve the conditional use request for multifamily housing for the 2 parcels in the process of being merged at 310 West Wolf River Avenue. The motion was seconded and passed by all. Upcoming agenda items were discussed. Motion was made to adjourn the meeting. The meeting was adjourned at 5:28. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Economic Development Committee, Ms. Croy.
Mayor Mark, we had our joint meeting for November and December on December 10th. Those meeting minutes were read at the December council meeting. The only thing that I would like to encourage everyone to do is, if you haven't yet seen the Park and Rec Committee video, please go out and do so if you weren't in attendance, so that you can be up to date on the joint action between the Park and Rec Department and Economic Development on the green space and the project that Milo is working on. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Croy. All right, moving right along, minutes and reports are stand as read in your packets. Reports of officers on recent events and announcements to the public. We'll start off with their mayor's report. The first thing on the agenda is discussion of rescheduling our February meeting to Wednesday, February 19th, due to the primary on February 18th. Does anybody have a scheduling conflict? Righty, looks like we can do that on 19th. We don't need a motion for that, do we?
I think you do because
do?
there is an ordinance. on it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Dorsey made the motion, second by Mr. Barrington. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. Mr. Ritchie. It's carried 9-0 as well. I'd also like to make an appointment to the Park and Rec Committee that does not need to be confirmed. Laura Shearer will take and replace Jim Yeager and continue his term. And that is all that I have. Moving on to the clerk, Ms. Ryers.
Thanks. As the mayor mentioned, there will be a spring primary on Tuesday, February 18th. There are no local races that require a primary, but there is a state Department of Public Instruction. There are 3 candidates on the ballot for the primary on February 18th. So statewide, there will be an election. The deadline for people wanting to receive an absentee ballot for the clerk's office to get those ballots out is January 28th. So next Tuesday, anyone that has a request for an absentee ballot, we will be sending out the absentee ballots. So if you have requested one of those, keep your eye on the mail for that. as with all elections, we'll be offering early in-person voting for people who are unable to make it to the polls. That will be during our office hours from Tuesday, February 4th through Friday, February 14th. And then in the clerk treasurer's office, we are still collecting taxes till the end of the month. And those are due here at the municipal building. We are collecting first and full payments until January 30 or till January 31st. After that point, you would have to pay at your respective county.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. City Administrator, Mr.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight, I just want to touch on some availability and opportunities for commercial growth in the city of New London. If you know of anyone who's interested in expanding or locating a business in New London, we have some great opportunities for you. On the north side of the city, there's over 80 acres available for development. This is near the Walmart area and next to the new Aldi's grocery store. There's also about 4 acres of vacant property on the south side of the city on Mill Street. This is near the intersection of Highway 15 and 45, which is a great commercial corridor location now that Highway 15 has been expanded. Both these locations I referred to are in active tax incremental districts or TID districts. And what this means is that depending on the proposed development, we may be able to incentivize the development with a TID grant. So again, if you know of anyone interested in thinking about building or moving a business, contact myself, Chad Hurth, at the New London Municipal Building, because New London is open for business, and we'd love to see what we can do to help you find success in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurth. Chief of Police, Mr. Schluter.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had one anniversary, Ben Keach. And then I just want to inform everyone that about 2 weeks ago, I received a call from the Wolf River Vet Clinic stating that they will no longer be taking our dogs or cats or anybody else from any surrounding townships. That is effective January 31st. For the other townships, it is effective that day. So what we've been doing is trying to look at alternate resources for us to be able to deal with stray dogs and dogs that we have animal bites with. I've talked to some other vet clinics here in the city of New London and ended up talking to Sleepy Creek Pet Lodge, and they've agreed to come up with an agreement with us that in case of an emergency, we can place a dog there. I've talked to Dr. Walker out there. He'll assist us if we have to have that animal checked or anything for animal bites. But in the meantime, we are probably not going to be picking up many stray animals. So what we're doing is we're encouraging people to make sure that their dogs have collars and tags on with phone numbers that we can still return the dog. And also otherwise go and get your dog chipped. We're going to look into purchasing a scanner to be able to scan the chip so we can see who the owner is. We don't want dogs running around stray if we don't have to. But as we all know, most of our dogs belong to someone around the area anyway. So it's just me, how can we get them returned? But we may not be able to pick them up. We're still in the infancy stage of this. So we're looking at alternative things that we can still do, but just want to kind of give everybody a heads up because our policy on picking up stray dogs is probably going to change here in the next week and a half. So we'll keep you posted on what we're doing. But in the meantime, get the dogs chipped, put a collar on them, make sure there's a phone number and a name on there, and we'll still try to get them back to you if we can. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Schluter. Director of Public Works, Mr. Garza.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bid opening for the Oshkosh Street reconstruction will be this Thursday, the 23rd. There's a lot of interest in this project from many contractors, so we are hoping for competitive bids. Also, residents on Oshkosh Street will be receiving information in the mail regarding the upcoming public informational meeting for that project. It'll be February 13th at 6 p.m. at the Washington Center. The mailing will also contain assessment information and the notice of the public hearing for that assessment, which will be here at the next Common Council meeting, February 19th. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Garski. Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Soul.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only good thing about the frigid temps right now is that it makes great ice for our ice rink down across from the boat launch in the municipal garage parking lot. Unfortunately, we do not have enough snow for the sled hill, but the ice rink and warming house are open. However, we are asking ice fishermen to please take caution and not use the boat launch ramps for going out ice fishing. That is not great ice to be on. So you will see there are thin ice warnings down at the launch, so please take heed to them. And that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Soul.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Mr. Ritchie.
Yeah, we got a few anniversaries. Dick Muskovich with 51 years, myself with 40 years, Greg Steilen's got 35, Ryan Ritchie's got 13, Fred Seawart's got 6, Justin Wimpy's got 2, and Ryan Popke's got 2. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. And last but not least, Utility Manager, Mr. Bessett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no electric outages or events, but I would like to recognize Andy Chandler for 12 years of service with utilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bessett. Last on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion